Right, here we are again, episode 11 of the official Arbroath FC podcast. Usual suspects with me. To my right, Jamie Cadman. How are we doing, Jamie?
Hi folks, good to be here again.
Good show. And to my left, Fermer.
Hi guys,
Fermer?
all good.
Good show.
You
And
managed to get in this week, well done.
It's going to be like that, is it?
We're starting quick.
one half of our dynamic duo management team, we'll call you the A-team.
Good.
We've got Pink with us this evening. How are we doing, Pink?
I'm good, thanks very much.
Good show. Brilliant to have you here.
Thank you.
We've got a lot to sort of cram in for everybody that's watching or listening. This is Valentine's night that we're recording it, so thanks everybody for giving up their time as well, especially Marius is doing all the camera work for us.
Always good to have a bit of Pink on Valentine's night.
Oh, there you go.
It's going to do well straight away, isn't it?
We always start off with a review of the games. Wraith is it the last game that we had here at home? Game of two halves for me.
Yeah, game of two halves for me as well. I was up in the commentary box with Scotty and Fraser, helping my Bob.
Oh,
but yeah, I thought we were going to, before I think I said it in the last podcast, I thought we were really going to give Wraith a doing. I had it in a feeling I thought we were looking a lot better. We started very well, wind against our backs, a few corners, and I thought we were looking really positive. Michael McKenna's corners were causing a wee bit of damage. We took the lead in 20 minutes. For me, that was kind of where it, I mean, Pink will maybe say different. For me, it's where it kind of stopped for a wee while. We kept on attacking for a wee while, then we seemed to fall out of it. I thought, I was hoping we'd go in at half time, a couple up, because there was no two doubts that Wraith were going to come back. Second half, very, very difficult. I think perhaps we were a wee bit hard done till we had a chance. Stevie Hetherington had a chance up at this end here. I think if that had went in, that would have changed the whole thing of the game. But sometimes they didn't go, and that's it. Then of course Wraith equalised. To be fair, Wraith had 2 good goals. I mean, we can't fault their goals. I'm not so sure I would blame anybody for the goals. I just thought they were good goals. They really did push hard against the wind, and that was pretty much it. I was a bit disappointed, to be fair. We're allowed to be that.
Fair summary, Pink? Or?
I am surprised at that. I thought spot on, actually. They started barely and faded. But no, I think Alan's 100% right. We weren't just disappointed, we were absolutely devastated. And did we deserve to win it? Probably not. I think in the end, Wraith Rovers controlled the horrendous wind a wee bit better, to the point that they got the ball down and played it and got some width and got crosses into the box. So, but we were, I certainly wouldn't say we were going to give them a doing, but equally, I thought we were up for our work. Made a lot of great signings. The whole club, the whole team's looking good now. But I thought that probably Wraith Rovers deserved it on the day. They were slightly better than us. And we didn't manage the conditions. We rightly should have gone in, or it would have been better for us if we'd gone in with a couple of goals. But no, I think they deserved in the end, but we were gutted and we just said, pick yourself up and let's move forward.
And that's all you can do. And it's probably, we're still, the number of new signings that we have brought in, there's still an element of gelling to do as well. Would that be fair to say? Aye,
that's a good point. I know that you have to watch, because I certainly don't want to come over as if we're making excuses all the time, but you don't need me to tell you that. I mean, the first half of the season was really poor, unacceptable as far as we're concerned. That's it. But but the team has made magnificent strides forward, and we know that we're going to have a better second half of the season. But you also know that the rest of them are going to be sitting on their hands, so they're going to be trying as well. So, but I think that we know what we've got to do, but it's going to be a serious battle, and we can battle with the rest of them.
That's a tough Gayfield debut, though, isn't it, for the new signings in that wind?
It is.
That's like thrown out the deep end a wee bit.
That's right, James. I think that this, again, no excuse. It was about the first time in all the time I've been here that the kind of conditions worked against us, and because it spoiled it, because we've got a good team, and but we didn't really get the ball. See, one of the things I would say is that I was just thinking about it the other night. The vast majority of teams in this league, and we were the same last year, they're settled. We've got a system. We've got a method of playing. They've got, they shut the back door off, and so, but because we've come through such a transition, and moved 8 players or moved 7 players on and brought 8 players in. We need time to settle, and I thought that showed in the Wraith Rovers game. That the fact that they were a more kind of settled system, and what we've got to do is, and we see it in the training, we've got to gel everyone in and get them playing the way we want to play, showing our DNA. Really,
they'll definitely make a difference though. Once they've give it a couple of weeks, and I think
I don't think we've got that.
I know, sooner rather than later.
I don't think we've got that because, as I've said earlier, I've already alluded to that we're excited about our team just now, and but we're under no illusions that how hard it's going to be. There's 2 things going to happen for me. We're going to get on a run and enjoy ourselves, or it's going to be an almighty battle. I'm afraid it's the latter. And but we can scrap like the rest of them, so bring it on.
Absolutely. Was that the reason for the closed door game at the weekend, or had that been arranged well in advance anyway?
No. Well, we have to. Yeah, no. That was we were out the cup, so and we want to keep the momentum going. We want to bring these players in, make sure they're playing, and we had a great game against St Johnstone, and so it was just a matter of keeping it going and trying to blend these boys in. Plus, we need a wee bit while for them to understand Dick's accent, because it's not something that there's not something they'll pick up overnight. Yeah. But so we had to kind of get together and do our best,
Was there positives to take from the St Johnstone game as well?
Yeah, particularly the first half. Great positives. I thought there was nothing in the game, and I thought that St Johnstone are what you would expect, a really first class team, good players, good strength. Good mobility, good experience, but I thought we more than matched them in the first half. Second half they were a bit better than us. We kind of changed things about a bit, and absolutely well worth the exercise. And of course we went out afterwards. The chairman was great, and the directors were a kind of whole get together with the club, and we're going to invite Alan, but he wasn't prepared to put a fiver in the kitty.
Not enough Grey Goose.
Not the first time.
Not enough Grey Goose. And then we had a wee kind of get together.
He's banned for most places in Arbroath.
As you can appreciate, just kind of getting the guys blended in. So all in all, it was great. Then on Monday we had a great training session. We had a good training session today. So we just need to. We know what's ahead of us. So bring it on.
You can never underestimate team bonding. Getting them all together,
absolutely,
and it's the best thing. You're letting their hair off, and then getting into Cairnobby in a wee, chat in the corner, whatever Cairnobby round about. It's a great thing. Let's hope it pays dividends on Saturday.
Well, that's it. At what point do you, or you might already have done it? At what point do you and Dick start thinking about the plan for Saturday for Cove in terms of shape, formation?
Right. A long time ago. I mean, we've watched Cove 3 times in the last month. And we've had them watched a further 2 times, so we know we know what where Cove are, and we know it's more what we do as well. And but no, that'll be a tremendously hard game, and we've got something to we've got something to look forward to. The last time up there we were really poor, and that's not something that
was one of our best games. That's for sure.
Doesn't sit well with us, that last performance. But equally, I mean, Cove have done brilliantly this season. And they're a good side, and they'll get our total respect. But we're certainly up for it, big time.
And the support that we're taking up is, I think, fantastic. Because are we on for about 3 buses?
Well, there's definitely 2 for Tutties, and I think that I spoke to Johnny Booth there on Saturday, and he said there was something like 22 or 25 in their one. So you can straight away, that's a massive support. Obviously, I'm in hospitality, as you can expect.
Obviously.
Surprise, yeah. So there'll be 10
if you get in,
that.
obviously.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll get in this time. Like, there's no enough time between Arbroath and Aberdeen to get in.
You see, I find that this is important because there's no point in dwelling in the past. You can learn from the past, but there's no point in dwelling in it. And our whole club's been kind of magnificent for the last a lot of years, and we've all been together. Now we haven't given the fans much to shout about, but we need them. We need everyone. Shoulder to the pump, sleeves rolled up to the shoulders, and I'm sure they will. They will support us in big style because we're kind of developing the kind of Arbroath attitude. Yeah. And we've been doing that over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So we're going to be in an almighty battle, but we've got talent. But we need the supporters, we need everyone behind us.
I think the fans, certainly for away games, we're getting guys now looking to go to Hamilton. Hamilton was one of the games that we thought we might not run a bus. Obviously, because of the last incidents down there, nobody was just too keen on going back. But it looks like the bus is going to do well there, and especially since it's a Friday night now as well. Ken, that's a game shifted.
Aye.
So, Ken, to get a big support on a Friday night down there is a good thing. So it's looking good. I think away games, we've certainly got a lot of people that want to go in it, and we'll touch on it, albeit they've got one or two issues as well. But the young ultras is filling buses.
Aye.
You can, so we're getting a lot of these youngsters going. Now, these youngsters make more noise than the Alderines, so it creates atmosphere. That's bound to help the players. We'd maybe want them to just be a tad better behaved at the home games, but we might just touch on that a wee bit, I suppose, because it's all great and well the club supporting the youngsters and the youngsters coming in and being great, but it's like everything else. They've got to learn how to behave. They can't just be launching missiles at away fans. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Abuse is a wrong word, but a wee bit of verbal banter between fans and that's fine. But so we just want the young ultras to just behave a wee bit. Look to Fermer for an example.
Don't do that.
But so in the Cove game, I'm looking forward to the Cove game.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, for a wee while I was a bit panicky, but I'm liking the new signings. I'm liking how the Abdi's saying that the club's feeling. Pink's telling us that they had a good night on Friday night. Yaki and that I speak to Bobby. Bobby's quite positive, and he said this morning, he texted me this morning, great training session last night. Good. Fermer, he says, so so they kind of things, if it's coming along and I'm saying to him, well, fans is ready, so it's not good.
We spoke about this before in training, but there is positivity. Yeah, there's not, it's your job to keep them up for the games, isn't it? So there's not an issue there.
No, not at all. Our players are very, very, very good professionals. Remember too that the vast majority of our team have been with us and for a long time, and our success and the way we go about things is ingrained in them, so they're more disappointed than we are at our poor performances way back, but not lately. Lately we're starting to look like ourselves every single game, but no, they're just a fabulous set of boys. Dick's quite good at that actually. He's good at something. He's brilliant at but no, we've got the thing is, what we say, and this is never going to change, guys. It's in our DNA. People come to the training to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, of course they do.
I enjoy working with them. Fermer's been up a few times, and but our training is always a load of fun. But the tempo and the professionalism is first class. So that would never stop. If that stops, well, we shouldn't be there. So you've got to combine this kind of professional improvement with a fantastic commitment to winning. There's no point being there. And I can see that. I can kind of taste that equally. Only thing that's important is the way we go about our job against Cove, and the rest will look after itself. You were
telling us earlier on, you were up the day training, putting in a wee bit extra work with the strikers.
Aye. I was just saying to you earlier, or we were talking earlier. You've got to blend guys in, and so I was up this afternoon on the pitch for most of the afternoon, working with the strikers, making sure they're combining well, making sure that we know where we're going and what we're doing, and it was good. I thought they were good. Their banter was good as well. So I didn't know that some of them had a personality. I saw there was kind of 2 for 1 in Aldi's. I think they do 2 boys bought one, but they're just a great, good set of boys, and they loved it as well. Yeah, kind of putting the effort in and coming up and kind of putting yourself out for folk.
With the new players in particular, how's it work with Barry? Do you say to Barry, we want a particular type of player, and he goes out to try and help find them, or does he make a recommendation and you guys assess them, or what's the sort of the dynamic there?
No. It's Barry works probably closer to myself and the whole club. All the infrastructure we've been in, recruitment's been there for 18 months. It's not been done in the last month. And it's the same for next year. Yeah. We're already planned. Barry's got an important part to play in that. You cannot. I don't think anybody in the world understands how difficult it is for recruit. One of the companies I've got is a recruitment company, and
I can tell you, Ken, it's hard for recruitment. I'm trying to say.
But I can tell you something, guys, for what it's worth, and I've made a pig's ear of it this year. but I can tell you what, you would not know how hard it is. So for one, I would not expect Barry and Craig for 1 second to turn around players in a week. It takes 6 months, a year. We're already planning for next January's window.
Really?
Because we've already got our team in place for next year. But last year we didn't have. Right. We didn't have. And if I'm honest with myself, if you reflect on the success that worked against us last year, we came into the season, of course we were fighting for points with Kilmarnock, and there was a point between us and our whole focus. And then, but we took our eye off the ball a little, because we then kind of let players go that we maybe shouldn't have let go, good guys, and we were looking after them. So the next thing we're left with a golf. I mean, not now. We've got all our plans in place. And Barry and Craig are great. These guys, they go to games every week.
Yeah.
Right? And then report back on players and games and give us and then we identify players that they want to go and look at further. And then I spend maybe about 6 to 10 phone calls a day. Really? With Barry, boring as hell. But,
we've been out with him.
We've had that to your face, though.
But him and I are on the same page. And I think he's learning as well just how difficult this is. I mean, it's just, you would not believe. I can tell you, even just, it doesn't matter the names, because I'm not like that as a guy. But the guys I talk to, who are big names in British football, they've all got the same problem. It's all about recruitment.
It's a competitive market, isn't it? Everybody's after the same thing.
Everybody, look at Liverpool, look at Leeds, look at all the teams. It's all about recruitment.
Everybody's after, no matter what you're looking for, everybody's after the top 10% of what's out there.
Yeah.
And
it's like you say, you need a striker, but everybody's after a striker.
And you're not going to get. They're not going to let their best players go. And that's the dilemma. That's the kind of the measure of our relative success. But we're getting there now, and we're on it. And as I say, with Barry and Craig, who are very, very good at their job, so we're covering the games, but we're covering all over Britain, really, and to a large extent in Europe as well.
It's great to hear.
That's just what we do, and it's already our plans are. I mean, our focus is to stay in this league, obviously,
naturally,
and but. I don't see why Arbroath shouldn't win the championship in years to come. Well, probably know me and Dick, because we're too old. But no, I don't see why they shouldn't, because they're a good club. But all our focus just now is staying in this league. And but getting the players is just absolutely incredibly difficult. We do brilliantly in Scotland, and but God, I can tell you the amount of times that. I don't know, 50, 60 players I've spoken to, and it's difficult to get them. But listen, everyone will tell you the same story. But bring it on. It's and you can't, and you've got this issue. Some of even the bigger clubs will develop their academies, and I think their academies are only relatively successful. There's no great players coming through their academies, But that's something that we don't do, and quite rightly don't do. But we've got an infrastructure in place now that's first class in terms of recruitment, so we'll get the benefit of it.
What's your biggest frustration as a management team then?
Dick. No. My biggest frustration is potentially recruitment.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any, and that's the word, frustration. It's not something that we don't know. And we've developed some intellectual potential there, a massive amount of experience in recruitment and work permits and agents and all over it. So that's immensely frustrating for me. And the frustrating thing for me about it is that you spend all your time doing this and you don't do what you're really good at, which is spending time coaching your own players.
On the park.
And but we're doing that now. And but other than that, I don't get frustrated. I get disappointed this year because we've kind of let ourselves down a little, as far as I'm concerned. But the players are magnificent, and magnificent set of lads, and so I get a bit frustrated at times because you feel you're letting them down, and but equally and you just want everyone to be together, and if they're together, Arbroath are a middle to top championship club.
Do you think, you already touched on that you worked in recruitment in the business sphere, is that easier than in the football world? Because you're obviously quite successful in business.
Yeah.
Is it just a different market?
Here's a pitch.
The skills not crossover.
Here's a pitch coming here.
I'm listening.
If you want recruitment, come to Avenue Scotland, right? Obviously, but no, we do permanent recruitment, we do engineering, we do temporary recruitment. Done that for 35 years. So where you're recruiting directors or labourers or something, we've got all that experience. But to answer your question honestly,
it's just a different.
See, the thing about recruitment is you're dealing with people. So you can set up, you can recruit people, you can generate the candidates, you can talk to them, you can objectively score them, match their skills against this, that and the next thing, but they just can't be bothered, or they're tire kickers and they're looking to see what you can pay them so they can go back to their own boss and say, you can pay me more. So the recruitment, anyway, I'll tell you, the recruitment industry is immensely difficult, and it's doubly difficult in football. Because it's doubly difficult in football. Because I'll tell you what, because Dick says you never see a bad video. Right, so I must have 100 videos of players who scored great goals, and you think, how the hell did you do that? Right. But you can do your track record stuff and check people out, and then do it properly, and but it's right. So, for example, I phoned up a friend of mine down south the week there about this player that I couldn't go and see. Well tracked player. We've done all the history on him and all the rest of it, but we haven't seen him. So we're not going to take anyway until we see him. And I phoned a friend of mine, which you all know, but I think it's fair to talk. I said to him, George, Pink here, what are you doing on Friday night? Whatever you tell me to do, I'll be there, because he just loves us to bits. So he's a guy that's played at a high level down in England. So I went for him to see this. I said, I want you to go and see this guy, bump, he knows the score. And he said, aye. So he phoned me about 20 to 11 at night and said, I don't know if I can see what he tells you.
How you go for it, Pink, go for it.
He says, aye, Pink, he's not for us, he's a fud. He's a fud. So, and that's a generalisation, which is not very fair, I know that, but equally qualified, it was saying, it's not for us. Doesn't do nothing, you not got the ball, doesn't do this, doesn't do that, and the subject lasted 5 minutes. So we've been tracking this guy for 6 months, or 5 months, or 3 months, and that's just one example. And all the other clubs have it. And the boy wasn't an FUD, he was probably not quite as bad as that. But
the point spelling it now.
I know, he's just showing off.
No. But I really cannot tell you guys how frustrating it's been in recruitment. But we've kind of learned. We've got we've got a structure in place now, and the club, the chairman, the directors, Dick, the backroom staff, Barry, Craig. We're all working closely. As I've said, I must speak to Barry 6 or 8 times a day. I'm absolutely.
Fair play to you.
Oh, it's hard going. It's honestly hard going. But hey, we've all got to take a turn,
You're doing more than most.
But the best have fallen into that trap with videos, haven't they? Soonest fell into that trap. Jim McLean signing guys on videos, and they were just absolute fuds.
Unbelievable.
So it's
just because Pink used it, you're gonna hate it.
On the back wagon.
No, but it's
the new catchphrase soon.
What do you do though, boys?
Scotty Strachan will use it.
No, what do you do? You guys, come on, you'll see yourself. What do you do? You can look at somebody's track record, and if they've played at a higher level, fine, you've got to respect them for that. But you don't know if they've gone off the boil through injuries. You don't know what their personal circumstances are. It's just so difficult. And then of course you've got agents who are, vast majority of them are great, but they're kind of, you feel like going back to them saying, wait a minute here. This guy was brilliant, he's not brilliant at all. And I've just spent 16 phone calls talking to you about it.
We said that with Spoonie in the last pod. Sometimes it just doesn't click in a club.
Yeah.
The player might go to the next club and be great.
It's true. It's true, but getting them, but the idea is, for me, it's like, going back to you, I know it is recruitment.
That's okay.
The biggest, because I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days, for different reasons. Our biggest issue facing us is, obviously it's staying in this league, without a shadow of a doubt, and that's something that we have got to master. And but you have to plan. And believe me, you have to plan windows ahead. You cannot survive if you go in. And last year we went into a scenario where great, fantastic season. It was great and everything. We had some great players playing with us, and for different reasons, we let them go. Because some of the guys were wanting to play more, other guys changed their jobs, and we let them go. Decent guys did the right thing. We shouldn't have, because that created a gulf, and we're sitting with drawers down because we don't get anybody else to replace them. Whereas that's not like that now. We're kind of planning ahead. So I think the kind of medium future, I think, is quite secure.
I think the fans will appreciate you saying that you probably got it wrong.
No, Dick got it wrong.
You don't say that because you can't Dick when I listen.
No, that was me. It was totally me who got it wrong, to be honest, without a shadow of a doubt. Aye, but the thing is, hey, you can't. I'm not a bad person, right? So you can't dwell on it, but you learn from it, and you've got to be smart on your feet and learn from it.
You learn from your mistakes. I didn't care this. Scotty Strachan, fair play to him, he's quite good at his research. He told me, and I didn't believe it, we signed 20 players this year. Right. And you didn't realise that until somebody tells you how much players you've signed, and you go, God almighty. But what I'm pleased to hear sitting here is how far ahead we're looking.
Oh, I know. Absolutely.
So for me, I'm chuffed. I've learnt something. So
I want to know who typed that in a browser for Scotty Strachan.
Scotty's a genius, doesn't he? And he'll know me longer he tells you that. Scotty, we're only joking, mate.
Remember, the heartbeat of our team is there, and it will be there for a long. And we'll got all our players, most of our players here for the time we want them to be here, and more and longer. And they're the guys that set the standards. And without repeating myself, they'll be as disappointed as we are, and you are, and the club is, and the fans are, at how poor we've been. Relatively poor we've been. Relatively. But it's just unacceptably not good enough. Whereas, and you feel for them because, we're better than that. And we're better than we've performed this year. I think we're as good as any team in the league just now, but the problem is, we've given people a start, and our teams have got consistency, and they've got a bit of confidence, momentum. And they've got momentum going. Yeah. We've got to try and do that quickly, but bring it on.
I still think it's the kind of league where any team can beat any team.
It's a
tough league.
It's a shot. I mean, when we go to Dundee, beat Dundee. We go to Morton, we beat Morton. Cove go to Patty Thistle, and Queen's Park were flying there. They've lost a couple of games. So, God, it's just. Of all the seasons, that's 5 or 6 now, or 4 or 5 in the championship. I've never seen it as tight as it is just now. I was looking at something the other night. I thought it was a mirror, but I was couldn't see it for love bites. You see what? If you look at the teams, in our league, I think Raith Rovers have got 9 points out of 15. That's the last 5 games, which are important. Some of the statos will catch me out here probably, but basically it's this. So they've got 9, and then I think maybe Inverness or somebody else has got 8. All the other teams have got 6 and 7. Yeah. So what that tells, that's all the other teams. They've only got 6 or 7. So they're all beating one another. Yeah. You with me? And that's why we're going in to the last wee bit of the season under no illusions that I know what we'll do, and Dick knows the club knows we'll be a hard team to beat. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, they're all going to be sitting. They're not going to be sitting in their hands, handing us. You went 3 in a row, you'll be mid-table.
I'm looking at kind of last run in. I'm trying to be positive, but I'm looking at a worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. If that things goes again, if we're looking for Cove to be getting a bad result at the end of the season to help us again. Their last game's against Morton, and the week before they've got Dundee. Neither one of them is easy for them. We've got Hamilton, and I think we've got Cali the week before. Hamilton and Partick. Sorry, you can. No easy games either. No. So I mean, I think there is difficult.
The thing is, it's your prerogative and everybody's prerogative to look at these games. But believe me, I can tell you, we will never ever do that. You start going down that road, you're in trouble, because as sure as your backside's pointing down the way, you're expecting somebody to go and 20 Dundee to beat Hamilton beat them 3-0. You know what I mean? So you discard.
It's a cliche. One game at a time.
I know, but it's right though, isn't it?
And it's looking after yourself as well, and what we do.
Well, that's all we can do. But I'm just saying, again, it's part of it. We can all look after ourselves, and that's what we have to do. We've got to get the Cove, we've got to get the Partick, Hamilton.
But there's one thing for sure: you can't play with a sore leg. What do you want to say? So we've got to go about our business properly. And that doesn't say we're going to give people a sore leg every week, but at the same time, you get in. you get in there and compete, don't you? You dancing part. Give me your seat.
You're playing like I used to play. My manager used to say, "Well, look at that number 9. He's yours."
Oh, Dick and Youngie, honestly, they were two great players, but they were the dirtiest bastards I've ever played against.
Is that right?
Great, good players. Were very good.
Who's the best player you ever played against?
Played against?
No, played against. For you, who's the best you ever played against?
Okay,
Gave you the hardest time as a player.
Ken Dalglish.
Is that right?
Oh, definitely. And but also played in Dennis Law's testimonial. But
you were up front. How's Dalglish marking you?
No, I was playing in the midfield at the time. You know, I was kind of. Oh God, I was. When we played at East End at Dunfermline, I was halfway to the Fourth Road Bridge. He was his best. One of the best players I've played against. I've played a lot of decent players, but at that time, I thought I was a brilliant player, right? And then after 3 years, when the manager said to me I was the worst midfield player in Britain, right? So I kind of took that on board and then went up front. And then,
change position.
I said, that's fine. Are you serious? He said, are you serious? He said, almost certainly. I said, what Ian? So I went up front and the rest is history.
Yeah, the worst spark in the world. I'll be a plumber then.
Well, you know,
you've got to laugh at that.
We'll touch on your own playing career, but one of the most asked questions that we've had when we've said that you're coming on is, now we all know the answer, but most people want to know, why did you get called Pink?
Oh God, everybody asks me that. It's boring as hell. It's I was a runner, you know, at the school.
Yeah.
And but you know, I liked, and there was the honest truth is there's a local club, Petrivia Running Club, right? And it was, I used to do the 800 metres, right? And just wait to get around the bend in the last bend and see you later.
It was a killer.
See you, pal. And then, and I was just this guy, and I was only about 14, 15 at the time. I was running at school, and this guy says to me, "Well, here he comes, the Pink Panther." Right, and since then I've always been called Pink, and actually one of my sons gets called Pink, but that's the boring side. And but Christ, there's loads of other bloody takes on it. But no, that's where I get called Pink.
So you're faster than your brother when you were kids?
Well,
he couldn't catch you.
I think it'll be faster than now.
It depends what policeman was chasing. But no, I always think this. If I'm honest, Dick. I'll tell you what, Dick was a very, very good technical player. Very good player. He was as good as me, if no better. The two of us were decent, more than decent, you know. As he says, he could have went to Liverpool and he could have went to Leeds, but they just didn't want him. And but Dick was a very good player, a very, very good player. Scored a lot of goals actually. He scored more goals than I did. I think between us we scored a couple of 100 goals at youth level.
So was Dick a forward?
No, he was a midfield stroke centre half. And but no, he was a very good technical player. I loved the way he passed the ball. I mean, Barry Sellers was a good passer, but Dick was a great passer. So, but him and I go back a lot. Him and I played in a lot of times. I remember one game in particular. Dick Kenny always looked after me. I couldn't tackle a fish supper, right? But I remember we were playing at Hibs, and what's his name? Well, Jackie McNamara Senior, and he took me at the halfway line, halfway up there, and just scythed me and right. And I went, and I just got up. And I was just about to go up there. Christ sake, come on, ref! And the next thing I saw was Dick getting sent off. So Dick had run up 20 yards and smacked him. So anyway, that was Dick. Brilliant. We'll always the stories we can tell. Legendary.
Keep going, I like that kind of
story. He's brilliant. I like that one, Dick.
He told us one time when we were with him that he claims anyway that the pair of you, because of the twin thing, you've got some kind of psychic ability. Now we weren't buying it, but
aye.
you can.
There was long spells. I think he's probably right. Loads and loads of times I would lift up the phone and I'd go, all right, Dick. You know, that's the truth. You know, you just knew it was Dick. And to this day, that happens back and forward.
Now it's Barry.
No. I laughed. Remember, Chick Young was doing an interview with Dick and I about 20 years ago, and I thought Dick came away with a one-liner, which was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't believe it. I was roaring and laughing because Chick had said to him, it's Pink, he says, is there a bit psychic? You know, is you guys psychic? Is there something going between you two? Dick says, he owes me a tenner next month. But I did on the pitch, and the times when I did play in the reserves, when Dick was playing, he
What tuned on?
You got me tuned in there.
You get that, Jimmy?
He was Dick. I'll tell you, he scored goals from the middle of the park. Aye, definitely. He definitely scored goals. And a lot of genuinely, not a few times maybe. If I remember in our Brecon days, even you'd get to the byline, you just knew Dick was going to be there. So from that point of view, yeah. But I think that's all. It's all kind of changed as you get older because you don't spend as much time. But why I'm still spending every minute of the day with Dick is beyond me. And but it's great fun, and obviously I love it a bit.
So you played at Dunfermline with Dick, and then Brecon as well.
Yeah.
So you've actually done a lot of games together.
Oh God, aye.
Have you ever had fights on the pitch, and everybody's just standing there going, brothers are going at it? Or?
No. I've never. Dick's. I've always been kind of up front. Dick's always been a defender, but when we.
Is he not shouting abuse at you like?
We had a great one. We had some great stories. Yeah, Brecon was a great club because when we went there as players, they were it was just fantastic, and the board and the committee at Brecon and the players and Charlie Dunn took me from. He's the funniest guy I've ever met. I think I just burst out laughing. He took me to Brecon because I was going to college and university and all that shit, right? And and he managed to come to my house one night, 10:30 at night, and managed to get to sign for Brecon. For Christ's sake.
Can you just tell the young ultras that they should be going to college and not? Pink says it's shite, mum.
No.
Successful businessman.
No, but you just had to do it. But I always remember when I went through there. I remember I was a kind of student at Glasgow. I just loved it. Of course, Dick, he's never a real girlie in Cowdenbeath, So I took him and John Ritchie through there, and we were playing the Rangers Tenants tournament. We got knocked out in the first round, so I took him for a curry, right? And we're all there, and so John Ritchie, who's sadly no longer with us, and Big Patsy and Dick and the four of us were all sitting there. So I ordered 4 Boona lamb curry, the white rice with the Boona lamb, and everything. So I'm ripping about this curry, and Dick's sitting. I said, what's wrong, you know what? And he says, I wouldn't put that into my dog. So, and then I said, no, Dick, it's great. This is the God's honest truth. So he took a spoonful, right, and he went, whoa! And he took the floors out the vase and skipped it back. Right? No. Aye, great. Oh, I can tell you a million stories about Dick. I'm sure he can do the same. The thing is with Dick, he just kind of makes his own stories up.
We know that.
Just on the day, yeah. But no, sorry, get back to Brecon. We had some great days. And when I went to Brecon and Dick went to Ross County, we were at Dunfermline together. I went to Brecon, then I was at Brecon. I had a poor season that year. I think it was only about 22. But Dick came back from Ross County and joined us, and we had some great days. And he's some boy. Well, Ian Stewart, the manager.
Ex-manager Arbroath.
Just a great boy. He's a great boy. I still keep in contact with him, but Dick was Mr. Hardman, you know, and so Ian Stewart was refereeing a game one night, and Dick didn't like his decision, and so Dick turned and kicked the ball out of the hedge, you know, beach hedge at Brecon. So the game all stopped and everyone went quiet, and Stewart says, right, you get and get that ball. He says, nah. Stewart says, no, you will find a week's wages then. Huh? He said, get that ball. He says, nah. He says, you'll find 2 weeks wages then. And of course we were all getting around him saying, this is getting tasty. And he said, Dick, get him, get that. Better get that ball out of that hedge. And Dick went, nah. He says, you'll find 3 weeks. And of course it was getting out of hand. And he says, right, the last time, you better go and get that ball. He saw Dick going, alright then. And he says, but I'm not doing it the next time.
Did you not end up the record goal scorer at Deacon?
Aye, I was the I had scored. Aye, and I had a fantastic.
Most appearances and that, I think.
Was it?
No, I did, and they got the player of a few years.
What do you think of the situation they're in now?
I think I was disappointed, but I know Craig and Kevin and the manager, they're doing great now. They're on their way up. How they got themselves in that position, they'll only know. They're good people who are running that club, and but they kind of maybe lost their way a little, and because it was only a few years ago. I remember they were in the.
They just went down the leagues, did they?
But just a fabulous football club. We just love them to bits. But I think they're on their way back now, guys.
Yeah.
They're winning the league.
They're flying.
They're flying. So, and I hope.
Well, Spoonie follows them, so they must be flying.
Brilliant. And I hope that they can continue and do lick their wounds and get on with it. I think they
said they had to play the East Lower League, is that right? They've
got to play the winner of the lower.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to get up.
What's that, Bonnie or something at the moment, is it a deck, yeah?
No, Bonnie are in the League 2. It's, I don't know, I have no idea. I think it's not no, it's not Linlithgow or anything like that.
I can't imagine. I didn't mean it was Bonnie.
No, I think they're doing well, and then Forfar, they're on their way up as well, which is tremendous. So, and then I love all the Angus teams. I love beating them anyway.
Apart from intros.
I don't mind that. There's a bit of rivalry there.
Oh, you need it. It is great to hear them in the same league for all that derbies and everything. It is good that they're not here just for bragging rights.
It's not easy, guys. It's not easy for all clubs. Because they've got to work within their own budgets and they've got to work within their own infrastructure. But Arbroath, I'm only interested in Arbroath. And Arbroath, the way the whole club under Mike's chairmanship and the board and everything, has just been fabulous.
They've done fantastic.
Fabulous. And the fans as well, I think the whole club. But in a lot of ways though, indirectly, it puts you under more pressure. Because you go up there and everybody's having a fantastic time and there's over 2,000 there, you feel you're kind of letting them down. That's why I never talked to anybody for about 3 days after it, because I just hate getting beat. It's not. I hate getting beat. I hate getting beat really bad when we don't play well. I'm like that as a golfer. But if you play well and do your stuff in the I can live with that. But I'm still crap. But with this season, like the players and like everyone, we've had to stomach far too many disappointments, but that won't happen again.
I think it must be one of the hardest jobs in the world to work for. They have to hear an after-match speak when you've been beaten. I'm not thinking I'd like that too much.
It's probably the wrong time as well, because you're emotional after a game.
I've got to take my hat off to Dick. He's better than me at these things. And but I'll tell you what, he's just, you get on the same way all the time, guys. But somebody you can sense his little disappointment, but I mean for me, I'm taking my life. But Dick's brilliant. He'll go into the boardroom, he'll go into the opposition managers, and I tend to certainly talk to the managers a bit. He'll come in and do the press, whereas the last thing in the world, guys. I like to kind of think things through, But in fairness to Dick, with the press, and I think he's fabulous.
How do you cope with your nephews coming in and you before? Is football spoken a lot when you're all together?
I think so. That's a good question, baby.
I'm not just here for my looks, man.
Says Scottish Stacking down there.
He gets no. I'll tell you, it's really interesting though, because without boring the pants off everyone, well, it's like my two sons are the manager and what do you call it, and the coach at Cruskies. And when I talk to them and listen to them, it's just like listening to us. They've been brought up. They're good. They're good at what they do. And Ian and Paul and Richard's boys, when you talk to them, it's like talking. It's the same lingo. It's the same language. They still believe in the same things, fighting for your mark, getting close in the middle of the park, and it's not yet. It's. And I'll tell you another thing too. I'm sure Dick says the same. If I was to send anybody to a game in Scotland, I'd send anyone a day 5 because they're quite objective. I do. And so with that, but now and again you've got to put them back in their place. Because I mean, what they've done, So honestly.
What do the wives do at Christmas? So they say no football talk.
Oh no chance. You just get away through the other room, And, honestly, it's murder when you got everybody there and whatever. But no, you just want to talk football.
I know that you're quite modern with your training methods. I mind Dick saying that you can take on these modern things. Does that come for a wee bit for your sons and nephews? Is that just yourself that's at that?
I think so, Alan, if you don't mind me saying so. I think you've always got to remain relevant, and I'm like that anyway as a person, but it's a really interesting point that, but you see, it's you see, like say in the past, the backgrounds that Dick and I have come from, kind of coaching backgrounds where you break the game down and you're working in zones and you're doing different things. We don't do that anymore. The game's changed. One, you're working with better players, fitter players, better players. So you've got to adapt. I mean, the science that we've got at our club is tremendous. With Craigie and Kevin, and so we know, and you're looking at a breakdown of passes and non-passes. So their whole approach has changed. It has to change. I mean, they're away home with their own training programs and all the rest of it now. But so no, what I would say, but nowadays it's just not like that at all. And I think, if you don't mind me saying so, I think that one thing it emanates from Dick. I suppose Marcel and John and Rab and that help him a lot. But everybody wants to play for you. Right, in the minute, see when I see our games, the minute we start a game and we're really poor for half an hour at a time, I'll look at myself and say, right, move on. But that never happens. We get beat, but you can't really. You watch the way we start a game. We start the game as good as anyone, and that tells you that the players are focused. The players are on top of what they're doing, and that's a lot to do with Dick. And he is good at what he does, although it pains me to say so. But you don't want to give him compliments, But that being said, as I said to you, it's a long-winded answer, but you have to be. My approach to training now is totally different than it was 10 or 15 years ago. And I was at Dunfermline for all these years, and then 10 years with Dick at Dunfermline. And my ideas on coaching were totally different. Now, you don't need to do as much. The game's much more intensive, and the individual players are much more technical, and it's about getting them motivated and gelling into a team. Having said that, going back, I mean, it was great this afternoon because I was working with these boys technically, and you don't get a chance to do that a lot. Maybe that's where the full time is.
It's something we've often thought about, because you don't get enough time to spend with them to do the individual coaching sessions that perhaps you think they're needing. There we go.
Mm-hmm. What memories have you got from your time when you were here as a player?
Oh God, that didn't last long. I was here for a year as a player. I think I scored 1 goal and we played 1 game. I mean, the team.
That's a good hit.
No, but the only I would say, guys, because I've got fond memories. The only I would say there, I was in that transition phase where, I was going to Jordan Hill, I was going to university and all that stuff, and my head was stuck up my backside. I was more interested in playing squash, But I thought I was a decent player, but there was no way I could get
squash
or. But I think, but no, the team picks itself, guys. Come on, they were a great team. Jimmy Bowen, Fletcher, Cargills, the Sellers. There's no way I was on the bench. They called me the judge. I was on the bench every week, but I couldn't get a game. But Willie Matheson, the left back, and just great players. Derek Rylance, just good players. John, they were all better players than me.
There have been some camaraderie because that's a bunch of characters in there that you've mentioned.
Aye, that's right. But when I look back then, I can remember travelling away with the reserves and midweek games and everything, and I didn't enjoy that. But I remember doing it, so because I was on I even remember then saying to myself, see, my biggest challenge is managing the players that are no playing. I do that for Dick, and Dick's conscious of that as well. But when I look back then, you were right. You picked a team and it was up, and the 12 players, the rest of them, get away and do what you want.
There's a lot to be said for reserve sides. So do you think that's a positive, negative that the reserves league's gone? There's no reserves.
So. I think so. I think so. That you've got to get to. This is a different story with regard to reserves and reserve teams. I don't think reserve teams work. I don't think the clubs can afford them.
Well, that's
and I don't think that trying to keep all these boys happy, it's just incredibly difficult. I mean, that's why you talk about sizes of pools of players, right? We've got 21 players now, and I think for the first time we'll have players not on the bench. Now, that's not easy to manage.
Yeah.
And this is what I always think. I mean, I look at these teams and I can think of one or two teams in the Premier League where how many players have got. So I don't know how the Celtics and the Rangers do it, but but no, it's good. It's just something that. And so when you think about it, we've got guys that we've got to organise games for them. The boys that are not playing, they've got to play regularly, and so we do it kind of once a month and bring junior teams and that into play rather than playing the reserves, because you can't keep them all happy.
Your whole talk of night's been a lot about players and how much they mean to you and good players and that. And I'm not going to ask you I'm going to ask you to just forget about Arbroath Football Club for a wee minute. Who's the best professional football player you've ever worked with, coaching, etc., and tell us why, if you don't mind.
I've worked with.
Well, but you must be somebody that you've coached that you've just thought's been the ultimate professional, and
loads of them.
Apart from Barry Sellers, obviously.
Loads of them. I think this will surprise you because I've been fortunate to play with some really, really good players in my time, and but I think maybe the best way to go about this, Alan, is to look at pound for pound. And this will surprise you, but one of the probably best ones that Dick and I is a big Chris Templeman, Sani. So Sani played for us for 14 years at Dunfermline, at Brecon, at Forfar, and he never gave us one single bit of bother. Turned up a train, did his training, and all the rest of it. So he wasn't the greatest player, although he's a fantastic footballer. In terms of pound for pound, then we sold him to Morton for 100 grand. I think we brought him back for quarter of that or something like that. But so boys like that spring to mind for me, and we've got virtually all our team, and the boys have been with us over the last, right from day one. Goldie, McKenna, Tam, Ricky, these boys, they're just fantastic players. Now, as you know, when you look back at our relative history, there's just a flaming plethora of players that fall into that category. But the thing is, they wouldn't be there though if they didn't.
Aye, true.
Because that's one thing that that's one thing. You see, the management's about getting the best out of the available resource you've got at your disposal, and we own it. We owe it to ourselves that if guys have got a poor attitude or anything, just doesn't work.
Attitude's the only thing you get for nothing. The reason I asked that question is because I had a parent ask me, because his son's quite good at football, but he doesn't think he'll ever be a pro, and he's saying, should he stick in or what should he do?
Great question.
And so how do you answer that?
Well, it was really quite interesting because John Ritchie was our closest friend when he was the youth coach at Dunfermline, right? And he's just a fantastic guy, but he let go of my son, and then he told him that it wasn't good enough. So, and that was a hard one for John to come into my house and free Alistair, who's my best pal, and but I respected him for it. You know, I actually didn't think he was right, but you respected him for it. So I think that it's never ever easy to manage people. To manage, and the minute you think that you've arrived and you can manage people, the better. You know, I always remember telling my son to fire someone once, and it went white as a sheet. And but to be fair, the type of person I am and the type of company we are, that we had gone from here to the end of the earth to look after this person, and the person was just
a fud.
Just a nonsense. But and I always remember saying to him that Alan, the minute you have a wee smirk on your face about firing or disciplining people, you're not a man. So I think that it's the same in the football world. It's in Dick's. Dick's a prime example of this. We're all human. We all love football players, and we just. And I must admit, that's a side of Dick that people didn't understand. He maybe comes across as if he's full of bravado and all this type of carry on, but Dick's the nicest person you've ever met in your life. Although he doesn't come across that way necessarily, but Dick is a truly, truly, truly human guy like you've never seen. He's if he's got something to say, and I admire him for this, he'll say it. But underneath it all, on reflection, he's fantastic at managing people. It's horrible to say that.
There's no malice there. He's just being honest.
Yeah. And sometimes seems I think you see it's funny because Dick amazes me because see all the referees. I mean, this is what happens on a Saturday. I don't know if you notice this, but when we go to the game on a Saturday, the stand-side linesman usually comes up and says, "Ian, we'll keep these boys in order today, because it's like being handcuffed to a couple of lunatics, you know." And obviously I leave it to me, I'll sort it out. And so Dick and Rob and John, they're just fantastic guys, and young, they'll be shouting at the referees and linesmen. And Dick gets sent off every year, as you know. But I'll tell you what, one thing that's amazed me is that virtually every single referee that retires gets Dick to speak at their dinner. Right? So that says it all, because they all respect him. You know, even though, and he's totally and utterly out of order 9 times out of 10, isn't he? And yet, but the referees admire, I think, his honesty. He doesn't, you know, but
he doesn't say much in interviews after games now. He never attacks referees. So, you know what I mean? He's very respectful that way.
No, he's
heat of the moment on the pitch, but afterwards.
No, he's not perfect. That's for sure.
There's no a lot of us are.
No, true. Who's been your own biggest influence in football or on you?
On football?
Or squash, up to you.
No, just running around. But no, I don't. I think Bert Payton's been a big influence on me. Maybe. And he's a fabulous man. And he's your, you know how you don't judge people by their abilities to communicate, you judge them by their abilities to listen. And Bert's a classic example of that. He's just a fantastic listener, and he's funny. He's seriously funny. I've had a couple of stories there that I think I'd get thrown in jail, but he's
just one then.
he's just a funny guy. But I'll tell you, and you see. And Dick will tell you too, when we were at Dunfermline there for 10 years or whatever, and Bert doesn't say much, right? And he because he listens, what he does say is important, right? And but what do you call him? Derek McInnes I'll tell you a quick story. Derek tells a great story, and it was true too. We were playing, and Bert's funny. We were playing Rangers and at East End, and I think it was Eddie Cunnington. I'm not sure, but I think it was the left back, right? And Loudrope was turning them inside, outside, all the first half. And so Bert was talking to him at half time, and he was going, "Hey, you need this, you need that." And then just 10 minutes into the second half, Derek was on the bench, and Derek walked past the dugout, right? And just as he walked by the dugout, Bert Loudrope nutmegged and turned Eddie Cunnington inside out again, and just as that bear going to Dougie, she says, "Eddie, do you know what Scotch sport?" And when Derek was telling me that story, it just absolutely, that just summed him up. And but his ability to listen and then come, in terms of kind of operationally in the middle of the park, so you come in at half time, you get a little time to sort things out, because maybe tactically they're outnumbering you or giving you width or whatever. Bear's fantastic, and that's his ability to
see the problem.
He would always grab me in the duggy, because Dick was always up the stand. He would always grab me and say, "What do you think, Pink?" And I would say, "I think you should F off." He did, because and it just shows you the frustration he was going through, but he was just fabulous.
We had Newbley on our podcast, remember? And he told us the story about you and Dick. He says, "What's it like at half time?" Because he just signed, and he says at one half time you just went in and you and Dick just had a rollabout fight.
Aye.
And that was it.
Aye.
And then he went out in the second half, and Newbley was saying to everybody, Is that the half-time talk? Is that a true story? Yeah?
That is a true story, but the same sort of story was, this was about 4 years ago when we'd carried out the whole pre-season, and Dick, for some reason, wasn't well. We were playing Montrose. I think we beat them 4-0, which was fairly standard practice. And
get it off
sorry, Stuart. And but the thing is, that wasn't like that. But we came in, and Dick came in, and he says, "Oh, Pink, you take the team talk the day." And I went, "All right, it's not like Dick, So I says, "Right, I'll tell you what, it's a local derby. Come on, let's get the boxing gloves out. Come on, let's go toe to toe. Come on. Remember, just go, when you attack quick. When you're not defend well and all the rest of it." And I'm doing this. And I went, "Gaffer, you come here, let's go toe to toe." So Dick came up and he was toe to toe to me, and I was talking to players. I said, "Remember, attack quick, but defend together and everything." And as I was saying that, Dick smacked me right in the face. right down in the ground. And then I went right down in the ground, and I can always remember wrestling with Dick in the ground. But when I looked up, the players were all just putting their boots and everything on the ground. They were just saying, just leave the two to get on with it, idiots. But no.
Coming up to the back end here, I know you listen to the podcast all the time, Pink, but so you'll know that this is coming, but we've got the best chanter in the dressing room competition. At the moment, as a player, it's probably still Bobby Lynn that's
Bobby,
that's the standout winner so far, but do you care to take him on here?
No, really, but Bobby's standing in the dock in Southampton, trying to get to Holland or France. The man in the Mac said, "You gotta go back, they didn't even give us a chance. Christ, it ain't easy. How hard it can be, joining. The way things are going, they're gonna crucify me. Trying to get a plane into Paris, honeymooning down by the Seine. In a brown Corsair, you can make it okay. You can get married in Gibraltar and Spain. Christ, it ain't easy. How hard it can be. The way things are going, they're gonna crucify me."
I think you might knock Bobby off there.
Bobby Lynn, you've been pumped.
That was brilliant, Pink. Thank you very much.
Easy peeps.
Last thing, we'll finish it off. Jimmy always has a quiz for whoever's on here, so it's his now infamous quiz.
This has got nothing to do with me and him, by the way.
Well, come on. Yeah, it's just a quiz, a bit of fun. Usually it's he shoots, he scores, isn't
it? That's it, yep. He shoots, he scores, so it's 5 questions, like a penalty shootout.
Right.
See how many you get.
It's really easy this week, so you shouldn't have really messed this one up, I don't think. I think the highest score at the moment, I think everybody's scored 5.
Pretty much.
We're very
I'm dreading these questions.
We're very lenient. Right, question 1.
Right.
What ball has a value of 6 points at snooker?
Pink.
Oh, there you go. Unbelievable. Question 2. What colour was Scotland's 2016-17 away kit?
Pink.
Jesus. It's incredible, man.
You must be panicking about the third question.
I don't know how I do it. I'm not looking forward to this.
This is a tough one.
Right.
What
Please.
What American female artist is famous for the hit song "Get the Party Started"?
Pink. She's great. Good
Jesus,
singer.
man, you follow her, do you?
I do. I.
God, you're a good man.
Oh, I'll tell you a quick story about that. When I had an office in Dundee, and Pink was Pink, you know, the singer, she was performing at the Caird Hall. And of course I've got Pink on my number plate, I don't know if you know that, but I was outside the office. I came outside the office and there was cameramen there. They were expecting to see Pink, it was only me. Anyway. It's true.
On that.
What a let do for them.
I know, it was.
We've only got 2 to go. I think you know where this is going. What was Steve Buscemi's character called in the movie Reservoir Dogs?
I'm not sure, but can I guess?
We'll take a guess.
Oh, we'll take a
guess.
Pink.
Mr. Pink.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Pink, aye.
Right, this is the easiest question, so
Are you sure?
You'll get this one. What do you call the finger furthest from the thumb on a human hand?
Oh, it's a pinky.
Unbelievable.
It's a clean sweep.
Unbelievable.
That was hard.
5 out of 5.
I'll tell you, Bradley Wilshire, no. Fair play to Pink for answering all them.
Aye.
Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Pink, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. I'm sure the fans will love it. I'm sure it's given them another bit of insight into, in particular, how the transfer market works and how far ahead you're looking. To the fans, if there's anyone even half thinking about not turning up on Saturday, please come. We need all the support we can get for Saturday's game against Cove. It's going to be an absolute belter, I think. So no matter the weather, get yourself up there. There's still spaces, I think, on some of the buses.
I'll hate to predict my score now since I'm not on social media anymore.
All right.
So I will go for a little 1-0. A 1-0 Arbroath. McKenna, 39 minutes. There we go.
We'll
We'll remember that.
We'll not remember that.
Yeah.
But put that on because obviously I'm not on social media anymore. Crazy fool. We'll tell you why in a minute.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much, Pink, from
Thank
me.
you, Pink. For me, just want to announce we're in talks with a new sponsor, which is British Airways, Fermer.
Ain't getting no plane.
Anything from you?
That's it. Good night, guys.
Good night, God bless. We'll see you Saturday. Take care.
Thanks, guys.